Beautiful. Oh, Yuval, we're gonna do music. I didn't turn that on this time. That's fine.
Not a big deal.
That's not a big deal. You're right. All right, let's start it off. Three, two, one. Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to another episode of the Runner Up Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Komet. We got Yuval Blank host,
Hey,
and we
hey.
have two special guests in the house. Everybody, give a warm welcome if we had an audience right now, but we don't. We got Jeff. We got Matt Gobeal. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Good to
Great,
see you.
great.
Yes, thank you guys for stopping by. We are going to be talking about some real estate, some personal development, whatever's on our minds today. So stay tuned. It'll be a good episode. But Yuval, let's start with you. How's your week, man?
Pretty good, man. Not not exactly the way I was hoping though. We were trying to get something locked up with Ben, and it's they're starting to kind of drag their feet and trying to maybe get us a little higher. So now we're trying to
Yeah,
wait it out and see how things are going with that. Just
yeah,
because you can't really chase a deal. So if it's a
mm,
deal, it'll work out. If it's not, you just don't chase it because at that point you're just negotiating with yourself, and it's not the right strategy at all. So
yeah,
it's okay.
yeah,
Definitely a good experience though, just from learning and seeing that end of getting close to closing something. We might close on it. We just have to see how that goes.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. What about you?
Not too bad. I know I was just seeing the chat for the last little week. I know we were almost about to lock up that deal. Oh my goodness. But it looks like, I don't know, there's some weird agents out there, but just staying consistent again, not getting our hopes too high, and you know, on to the next is all I could say, right? I mean, I bet Jeff and Matt can talk a little bit about that as well, but we get close to a deal. Sometimes it doesn't always line up, but yeah, you know what, Jeff, we could start with you. You want kind of give it in, yeah, just introduce yourself, where you're located and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm in North York area, north of Toronto.
Mm,
Um, I said not was not in real estate before at all, right? That wasn't my background. I mean, my parents have a couple of rental properties, right? My dad was a construction worker, carpenter,
mm,
mom just an office worker, and been familiar with doing renos and cleaning up houses. And anytime a tenant leaves, you got to go in and clean stuff up and
yeah.
always work to do.
Hmm.
They normally don't treat the house as you would like them to treat it. I mean, there are some
Mm.
good ones, but there are, definitely some bad ones too. Like we've had some bad interactions with tenants as well.
Oh, I bet.
And it's just,
Yeah, same.
yeah, I mean, we had talked about this on our podcast as well, right? I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Just some headaches with long-term renters, especially in Ontario. Just the way
Mm.
the laws are, the tenant or the landlord tenant board and everything, it's very tenant focused. They
Yeah,
don't really like the landlords too much. They don't want you to make too much money. They want to give you as much hassle as possible.
yeah,
Mm,
Even like I even find it crazy that you basically have to pay somebody to leave your property, which
yeah,
is absolutely insane.
yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, if we had some different rules, I think we would actually see more rental properties on the market because it's kind of handcuffing people as well. There's people
Mm.
with units that are sitting vacant because they don't want to deal with the hassle and that sort of thing, and that
mm-hmm.
doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Especially now with the amount of people that are coming into Ontario. And I mean, you guys are in Ontario as well, so like huge
Mm.
influx of people. I mean, Windsor area,
Not
GTA
enough
area,
housing for
everything.
sure. Yeah.
No.
Exactly. The inventory's not there. The construction's not going like it used to. They're not putting up enough houses.
Mm.
I mean, I think they're starting to push for it a little bit now, but everything takes forever here. So,
Everything takes forever. So right,
yeah,
man.
so my focus is actually the American market, right? I'm not really
Mm.
focused on the GTA. I mean, we have a little condo down in Florida.
Mm.
We have one
Nice.
rental property up here. We actually configured the basement as well. We put a unit in the basement too, so we have
Oh,
somebody
cool.
living down there.
Yeah.
And yeah, just started to push into real estate, right? It was actually the wife that saw the real estate revival and
Yeah.
what was happening and kind of pushed me into that and then just joined the community. And I've been with the community now since
Okay.
end of July, kind of start of April.
Nice. So you
I
have a
was kind of
handful. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was kind of a little bit slow at the beginning with trying to figure everything out and making calls and just trying to understand the whole process. Just
Yeah,
because, again, I've never been into sales. Never
sure.
really. I mean, the only real estate information and background that I had was, very much that consumer mindset, right?
Mm,
And just buying houses at full price and hopefully the cash flow and that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Luckily, when my folks were buying the properties, they were a lot cheaper at that point, right? So you were
Oh, I
able to
bet.
cash flow them, and they really taken advantage of the appreciation and everything.
Yeah.
Now we're in a little bit of a different situation, but now we also have more technology. We have AI. You can basically sign documents online,
Mm,
right? Do all of your marketing online, do all of your networking, your webinars, your money raising, everything,
mm,
project management, everything can be done from your computer, which, they didn't have access to that before, but we do now, right? So
yeah,
even
yeah.
though housing prices may be a little bit higher, we have more access to information, to technology, and to lenders, right? So even
Mm-hmm.
though, like I said, the prices are higher, there's more people lending and there's actually more access to capital. So if
Mm,
you have that skill to find the deals and negotiate, it's actually more advantageous at this point, right? Just taking advantage of what we have.
yeah, yeah.
And the markets, right? The markets have all slowed down. We've
They
all
have.
seen it, right? They've all
Yes.
pulled back. All the prices are coming down. They're stabilizing. They're still dipping, and not a lot of buyers, not a lot of sellers. So now's the perfect time to
Yeah.
find deals.
Yeah. You mentioned something real good there. How everything's becoming more and more digital as we see it, right?
Mm.
Just building your community. And you mentioned also just like, webinars and stuff like that. I know that's something Ben really emphasizes in the humble community. Would you kind of want to elaborate off of that? What does that kind of look like to raise money online, and how does that even work? Because some people might even think that as a, scamish or even just so volatile. Like, how do you kind of make sense of that?
Well, a lot of it is one, you really need to have your plan in place of what you're looking for, what markets you're looking for, and understanding how to raise that money and educating people, right? And then it
Hmm.
just seems you have to come off as credible, right? You have to be credible. You have to know what you're talking about. Um, be personable. It's that whole being able to talk to people and building those relationships. So
Mm.
one, it's like I said, it's having your set program, which we have, right? We have our 4 steps
Yeah.
when we find the deal, right? We have our exits. So that's kind of de-risking it. So
Yeah.
it's giving more incentive for people to loan you that money because you know what you're going to do with it. You're not just going online and asking people, okay, give me your money, I'm going to go buy a house,
Mm.
right? You've laid out the framework of what you're going to be doing with it to understand how you can make money, they can make money, and they can help you grow your business to potentially get more deals and make them even more money and scale up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we were talking about this just yesterday too, right? And Ben really explains this, that the house is just the vehicle, right? It's just the
Mm.
box to make you money
Hmm.
and grow your wealth and find deals and make your lenders money as well.
Right.
That's really
Right.
all it is. The house is just the box. Really, what the important thing is making the relationships, right? Having
Yeah.
the networking, connecting with people, connecting the dots, talking to some buyers, see what they're looking for so you can kind of adjust your buy box for the market that you're in so that you have the exits, you have your buyers, and
Yeah.
then basically networking with lenders too, right? So if you have both pieces there, you have your lenders in place ready to give you money so that you
Mm.
can close deals quickly and be aggressive. I mean, you guys know about that, especially down in Deal House.
Mm.
You could be more aggressive with your deals because you have your end buyer, right? So it's like,
That's
okay,
it.
we can turn around, we can close right away. Like you have that backing, you have that confidence to be able to do that because you
Hmm.
already have your buyer,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's a huge advantage. So it's really just connecting all the pieces and then having your buyer pool, your lender pool, and then you're the deal finder, and then it's just connecting all of it together, right? So it really is
Hmm.
just a relationship game, and then getting it out. That's what the webinars and the marketing and all the online stuff is for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's such a good point. I like you say that. So what I'm kind of hearing is like just connecting dots over time. It sounds like it's more of a people's game at the end of the day, right? It's not actually about that real estate. It's just a box on land, as you said, right?
Yep.
But it's connecting these people, right, that all have kind of like-minded ambitions and just connecting it together, right? And a win-win solution at the end of the day kind of just solves all people's problems, right? So that's very cool. I want to get to my buddy here, my twin with the blue light glasses as well, Matt Gobeal. Introduce yourself, buddy. How are you?
Matt
I'm
is
good.
Matt is
Yes, my name
Caleb
is.
just with the hair on the other side.
Just with the
A little
yeah,
bit more gray too. A little bit more gray.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty gray. I'm from Saskatchewan. Up north here where she's cold. I was never into
Man.
real estate either. My dad was a gambler, so it's not like I came from a family of real estate, right? I've
Hmm.
always wanted to do it since high school. I've worked many sales jobs. I've sold insurance. I've sold jewelry. So sales
Wow.
game was always there for me. Right now, I'm a service advisor, service manager, so I sell services.
Yeah.
Um, so then my girlfriend, I got her signed up to become a realtor, helped her through that. So now I do all her marketing. So I've been in real estate technically for 3 years, but been with Ben for about a year now, doing real
Hmm.
estate with him. Locked up my first deal, as you guys already know, 18 grand. Almost finished up on that one.
Same,
Lots of
man.
smoking deals in Saskatchewan.
Jeez.
Um,
Jeff was saying when his parents bought cheap houses, but you're buying them cheaper than what his parents bought it for. Like that's
Oh,
crazy.
100%.
Oh my
oh
gosh.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was
Well, and that
recently.
makes me wonder, like, in Ontario there, because like growing up here, houses were always 100 grand, 200 grand to get a nice house, nice
Yeah.
acreage. Now,
Yeah.
you guys growing up, and I think you guys just got out of high school, what, a year, 2 years ago now?
A year ago. Yeah. For me.
A year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So now when you
Years.
look at buying a house and starting a family and all that, does that scare you guys? Like knowing the starting price is almost $1 million? Like, what kind of
Yeah.
job do you need in Ontario to be able to
Yeah.
afford a mortgage like that at
Yeah.
5%?
That's
I
the
mean
reason
that.
why I'm here, to be honest,
Yeah.
right? You got humble, right? This is the journey, I think, knowing that you can't afford, exactly as you said, you can't afford this with a average salary job making 50, 60, even 80K a year, knowing that you're netting only half of that when the government's taking that. And like, how do you afford that? You're so right. So it's true.
So it makes me wonder too, like, you guys are here, you guys are learning real estate, you guys are rocking it. You know what I mean? You guys are pounding out phone calls, you guys are going to be
Mm.
successful at a young age. But you guys must have friends that you guys grew up with, went to high school with that don't have the same mindset as you guys. What's their goals? What's their plans? How's that going to work out for them? Like working a minimum wage job, do their parents just buy the house for them?
Hmm. Yeah. You want to
Yeah.
start that off? Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
after.
I mean, it's actually kind of funny, but in general, I don't really have many close friends in general, just because it's kind of hard connecting with people that are actually on the same line.
Hmm.
So it just kind of feels like a pointless connection almost,
Hmm.
especially if it's like a entirely different mindset. But in high school and stuff like that, I didn't really think of real estate. I know my parents were in it, and they started back before we even came to Canada. Uh, but I always had it in the back of my mind and stuff like that. And I know like even the house we're living here, it's not a massive house at all. I think it's like 1,900 square feet, and it's like over $1 million.
No.
Right, so it's just
Wow.
it's insane. The prices are crazy, but yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends kind of disconnected in college, so there wasn't much. Some of them are going into engineering and stuff like that, but in general, not much talk in the business kind of side. So uh, yeah, I mean, right now, I guess the friends I got is either my family and you guys in the community and
Come
stuff like
on.
that, which is fine by me. I was never a guy to have big circles. It was always pretty small circles. Um, so yeah,
No, it's good, bro. It's good. I think one thing I really um kind of just discovered was the effect of the inner circle, right? And actually choosing who you associate yourself around most. I mean, those people are truly gonna have an impact on your life, right? And you are who you surround yourself by. So, I mean, just going through high school, ever since I was young. I would always just be the most social. I would always just have like so much, fun with others and would love to socialize and I'd have so many, great memories. And it wasn't just until, last summer where, I turned 18 and I'm like, okay, I gotta just start doing something productive with my life because having fun and all, just great memories that can last temporarily. And I really didn't find there was always something different in the way I kind of thought of things. Besides from my friends, they were always just more laid back and just went with the flow, the status quo. Where I just wanted something different. I didn't want to comply with either just the government and your minimum wage jobs, and I didn't find satisfaction in that. I wanted more at the end of the day, and I think that's a great, ambition to have, to never just be complacent or satisfied with what you have, and to always seek out more at the end of the day. Um, and that's kind of where I just started drifting away. I don't want to cut off and burn those bridges, but kind of just shifted a little bit in my perspective because again, I don't want to be surrounded by people that tell themselves that they can't, or that, I'm just going to stay where I'm at and I'm totally fine with that. It's just a whole different perspective at the end of the day. So really just surrounding myself with those types of people now it's life changing. So that's kind of what I found. Yeah.
When Yuval says that too, like, you start to disassociate with people in your circle. And that's kind of what I went through as I started
Yeah.
out with this as well. I mean, my friends, they always, whine about money, or, they can't do this, they wish they could do that. Oh, it must be nice. I keep hearing it
Yeah.
all the time. But my favorite saying is, you know what? You hang out with four idiots, you're gonna be the fifth. You hang
There
out
you
with four smart people, you're gonna be the fifth. You
go.
hang out with four rich people, you're gonna be the fifth. It's just the circle
Smart.
you're in, the like Ben says, the higher conversations, that's why like Jeff and Santiago, it's nice because we're all on the same path. We all have the same mentality.
Hmm.
So you have more of a connection with someone online than someone in,
Yep.
in real life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with being a hermit. As long as I get successful, I'm okay with being a hermit.
Yeah. You make a good
I
point.
mean,
Good point.
did you feel? I mean, to be honest though, you got to remember as well that like the people that we hung out with were much younger and still haven't really developed and figured out like themselves, like we're going through right now. Defining ourselves and figuring out who we are, right? So it's like the people in high school. It's not not really real people, to be honest. It's just a bunch of kids growing up, right? So yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, definitely I can see that not a lot of people think about real estate for sure, especially that they don't teach it in school at all.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But the people that do were not in the physical world for me, so it's more just like online now, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, it's
fine.
very
But
lucrative. Very lucrative. Right. And I think it would be cool to have, this taught in high school, but what they'll teach you is how to save money to put your stuff in retirements and TFSAs, as we all know. Those are all great to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, are you making yourself rich or are you making somebody else rich, right? In what, you're putting your money towards. I kind of want to invest in myself, right? Not into a retirement account, which is ending up, look at that. What is he showing? It's it's cutting
right
out.
in
How
Is
front
can
of
you
that
your
see that?
cash
How can
face.
you
flow?
see that on my poster? The kids book I was making, teaching real estate investing.
Oh my goodness. That's
So
hilarious.
because you know what, like you were saying there, people don't teach that or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's teaching parents and kids.
Mm.
So I have it on my bird dog group there, kind of gauging everyone's interest and topic wise, but it
Are you?
teaches,
You made that book?
savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
That's
It's
you
about
might
my
have to send that over
developed
to me.
bird dog real estate. It's my bird dog, Finn.
There you go.
That's
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
I didn't know you
That's
made a
so
book.
funny. You guys send that over to me, but um honestly, I think one thing I just really found, one thing I might have an advantage to is throughout my, early childhood, I kind of saw Ben just in the works of it too, just because he was in Windsor, which was a really cool blessing. And I gotta say, a spark of very vivid imagery that I have. I have a weird mind, but I always just remember the funniest things. But the coolest, I mean, one of the coolest days was just when Ben shows up. I hear a loud engine. I run outside, and there's a Lambo on my driveway, and it was so cool. And just says one word, it says humble on the top of it. I was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years old, maybe of nine or something. And I was just like, what is like going on? Like, what do you have to do in order to, I mean, just achieve that, right? That's just a Lambo, right? That's nothing else. But um, I don't know. It was just such a cool, pivotal moment where it's like I need to seek that, right? And I just need to get started, right? I don't want to overcomplicate things, and I think this is where a lot of people do. And with all the information out there, it's like, where do you even start, right? And one of the biggest things, and Ben even just emphasizes, just start where you are. You're gonna suck at it, but you keep going, you're not going to suck at it for much longer, right? So,
Hey,
Um,
you know the
I've been
saying.
just kind of,
You know the
yeah.
saying. How do you eat an elephant?
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Come on, that's
Yeah.
all it is. Yeah. Good. So that's one thing I've been just emphasizing on, and I just, wanted, I think proximity, as you guys mentioned, is so important. So staying close to, people that are like-minded like this, like Ben and all the other coaches that have done the work, that have, found success in that. That's the people you kind of want to surround yourself by. But um, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I'll
yeah.
commend the both of you, right? You're both young and you're both starting out and you're already on the right track, the right mentality. Um, and I mean, I think it comes from your upbringing too, right? Like Caleb, your father runs a company,
Mm,
right? So you've been around the business building, kind of self-employed,
yeah.
having other guys working for like it's already been part of that, right? So, you see that coming from your father, and it kind of pushes you to kind of do your own thing, right? You kind of the same thing, Your parents, they've done the real estate, they've done their own business, that sort of thing. So it already puts you in that mentality, and yeah, just coming out of school, I mean, for me, when I was in school, right, they kind of sold you this dream back in the day that if you just get good grades and you go to university and you get a good job, everything's going to be okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's not that's not quite the truth at all, right?
Yeah.
If they actually taught me, maybe some financial literacy, that there's other avenues other than the banks to be able to get money and to build your wealth and do all that sort of thing, but they don't want to teach you that kind of stuff,
Well, they
right?
never talk about that.
At all, even when I was in school too, right? They don't talk about that at all. It's always the same thing: buy your house, have your mortgage, pay it off, have your steady job, and you'll be okay. And yeah, that was a good lesson back in my parents' time, right?
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
quite like doesn't quite work out that way nowadays, especially with the economy the way it is, with the wages the way they are, with the housing prices and everything. I mean, back in the day, my parents, they could work one job, have their house, still go on vacation, raise a family,
Yeah.
do whatever they wanted, and still have some money in savings at the end of the day, right?
Mm,
Good luck doing that now. So that's where, the people that are a little bit more savvy and that want more, that are hungry for more and that want to build, you have to
hmm.
find other avenues to do that. And it's not going to be working your 9 to 5, right? I mean, there's even doctors that are making 300, 400,000 a year. And
Mm.
just based on their lifestyle and what they're doing, even they're struggling,
Yeah.
which is absolutely
That's
insane to me,
crazy.
right?
That's true.
So, there's other ways to do it. And then, finding these types of communities and
Yeah.
this type of learning and
Yeah.
connecting with this type of community too, right? Like for me, anyways, I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, that this is the path, this is the end game to,
Yeah.
maybe I'll be able to retire, because I mean, I'm going to be 40 coming up,
Mhm.
right? So,
Wow.
I'm not a young kid anymore.
He's
Um,
not young. That's
40
no,
years
okay.
young. 40 years
yeah,
young, Jeff.
but hopefully I'll be able to retire and be comfortable like my parents are, right?
Yeah.
It's they say this generation coming up, is going to be the first generation ever where the kids are going to be worse off than their parents if they're
Mm,
not smart about stuff, right? Or,
that's right.
you know, if your parents, like, I feel bad for, people that are coming up and their parents don't have anything and they can't help them out at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing that I read, that if your parents don't own a home and aren't able to help you put a down payment or something like that, you're most likely never going to own a home in Ontario, which is
Wow.
crazy, right? And it makes sense. Like, how do you save up the down payment? How do you save up that kind of money to be able to own your own home?
Yeah.
Unless you have your parents backing, or unless you hit it rich, or
Yeah.
you have a really good job, which those are few and far between nowadays, right?
Sure.
Which is
Sure.
why a lot of our top talent up here is going to the States,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
because they have more of a balance between wages, taxes, and home prices, right?
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to
Yeah.
move down there, right? And then that doesn't help us out here at all. And I mean, I'll be honest, that's why I'm looking at the States too,
That's
right?
why you are.
It's
Yeah.
exactly, it's more affordable.
Yeah.
The numbers make sense, right?
Hmm.
Especially compared to Ontario, compared to where I am.
Yeah.
I mean, Windsor market is still not too bad, right?
It's yeah.
You can still find some good deals out there. If you put in
Yeah.
a second apartment in the basement, they'll still be able to cash flow.
Yeah.
There's still going to be
Yeah.
some appreciation there, right? Because everything's corrected, but it's eventually going to level off and start increasing again too.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So winter market, Sarnia, Welland, kind of that, eastern, southeastern Ontario, still not too bad, but anywhere around the GTA where we are, fucking forget about it.
Hmm.
Right. It's crazy. And everything is slowed right down. I mean, I just read an article today. Um, New homes on the market
Yeah.
and sales are even less than last year, which last year was the worst year in 12 years, and it's even
Wow.
worse, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
That is
it's
insane.
still yeah, it's still slowing down. But again, when I see that kind of stuff, it kind of motivates me. I'm like, okay, if everything is slowed down, there's not a lot of buyers, there's not a lot of inventory.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's a good potential for deals, right? Because people that need to sell right now, they have to sell. There's a
They have
reason
to.
why there's stuff on the market. So now you can kind of negotiate and find some deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
No,
there
Jeff, you.
was there a
Mhm.
aha moment for you guys that you guys in your life where you kind of saw, okay, this is not really gonna work for me. I have to figure out something that can actually make me retire. Was there something in your life that made you choose to go into real estate?
I think for me, it's because I was originally in pharmaceutical industry. Then I moved into cannabis industry when it started becoming more mainstream and more industrialized with the medical and then the recreational. So
Mm,
I was part of that whole thing, right?
mm,
Uh, and then doing consulting. And now the consulting is slowed down a little bit just because the market is absolutely saturated, right? And the thing
mm.
is too, when there's not a lot of money flowing around, and it's everywhere. It's not just here. It's in the States. I've done some contracts for some companies over in Thailand and Australia,
Yeah.
and everything is just slowed down across the board, right? Money movement is just kind of pulled back a little bit. It's in sort of that safety mode right now.
Mm,
But who goes first? It's the extras, right? It's consultants and extra costs and that sort of thing, right? So that's kind of pulled back a little bit. So I figure, you know what, I have a little bit more time, and I need to find something that's more stable. And I've always known that really real estate is the way to go. So now's the time to figure out how to do it, right?
Mm.
So yeah, it's basically with my industry and my business kind of slowing down a bit. I have
mm.
to shift gears and use my skills to do something else.
Good. Yeah, Matt, what about you, man? I mean, what kind of drove you?
It's kind of well, it's kind of funny. I've never actually really talked about this at all, but so growing up, I had it was a rough upbringing, right? It was a sink or swim. My parents never had money either. They ended up divorcing. So one, I got sick of being broke because I was pretty much on my own since the age of 13. That's when I
Oh,
first
wow.
moved out, and
Yeah.
I dropped out of school for a few years, ended up graduating still. It was a bit late, but still did that.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny because my goals back then were to become a veterinarian, right? Completely different than what I'm doing now, right? I had good grades
Mm.
growing up, honor roll.
Yeah.
But then I've always known real estate is well, to me it was get rich quick, right? That was kind of my mindset growing up. I had that hustle mindset. Let's, whatever I got to do to make money, whatever I got to sell.
Yeah.
And as you start to slowly mature, you start to realize that real estate was the way to do it. And it
Yeah.
was funny because I've been with my girlfriend Bailey there for almost 12 years, 11 years.
Wow.
And I remember the first time I was, talking to her parents and all that stuff. They asked, "What do you want to do when I graduate?" And I said, "Well, I want to become a realtor."
Mm.
And her dad ended up like flipping his lid, saying it's the stupidest idea in the world. There's no money in real estate, and just going off and off and off about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And even to this day, he still goes on about it when COVID hit, right? We bought our
Really?
acreage here for 282,000. COVID hit, prices
Mm.
skyrocketed through the roof. I'm glad I bought it then because the house we're now appraised this year at $465,000
Wow.
compared to the 282 I bought it. And I've only been here for about 5 years. So then
Amazing.
I ended up buying a cabin for an Airbnb, and her dad said, save your money. We're going to go to war. The economy's going to crash. Start stockpiling, build a bunker, that kind of crazy
Yeah.
shit. So I ended up buying the cabin, didn't even tell him about it.
Mm.
And then when he found out, he was not happy, and he was going on about probably one of the dumbest ideas ever. But then he realized how much profit I was pulling in on that from Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then it's funny, they laugh at you, they mock you, but once they see you succeed, then they try and copy you. And that's
Yes. Yeah.
exactly what he tried to do was, he wanted to go find his own cabin. But you
Hmm.
know what? You need to have that special mindset.
Hmm.
Um, like financial education is the biggest thing. I mean, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, like probably all of you have as well,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what really turned my mindset onto, I guess, finding better deals and investing wise, and not just paying retail for everything. Like my dad was cheap; he would walk in any store and he would try and negotiate a price, whether it
Yeah.
was jewelry or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
I kind of had that negotiation mindset, growing up in the first place.
Nice.
I mean, I've seen other people try and copy the same things that we're doing, but they don't want to pay the mentorship. They don't want to take the education. They don't want to spend the time to learn.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
overpay for real estate. They overpay for renovations. They lose money. They get sour about it, and then they hate the industry. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how it just falls down, right? So I'm kind of glad that I got into this and learned before I got too far into it. Like I was lucky with my cabin, I got it for 70
Yeah.
cents on the dollar without even knowing I should be doing that.
Sure.
But
Sure.
mentorship is also crazy expensive, right? Like
Mm.
I'm not fully, as you kids would say, unk status yet, or a boomer, like Jeff. Um,
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm 29. I'm not even 30 yet. So
Yeah.
knowing that how expensive mentorship was, I mean, I've been scammed before in the past.
Yeah.
I took the risk, and glad I did, because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for it. And seeing other students that I started with a year ago really succeeding, like Rianka,
Mm.
Sharon, and Colm. I mean, they're killing it in the real estate market. I mean, they got a lot
Yeah.
of time to make calls. I still work, 8 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Hmm. Hmm.
So which leads me to think now, for real estate, for you guys to get into mentorship as well. I know I think you signed up, your parents signed up, and then you're just underneath them, right? But you're signed up yourself, Caleb.
That's
Something like
correct.
that. How did you set your mindset to spend that much money at your age? Because if I asked my parents for that money, I swear to God, I probably would have been homeless a lot quicker.
You know what? It's a very good point. Honestly, I think Ben made a really good point. But when you do pay for something, when people pay for something, they tend to, focus and dial in more on that. It becomes more of a, pursuit. It's like it matters. This thing's important, right? Look, there's absolutely no reason why everybody shouldn't be, crazy, successful or wealthy with all the information that we have online now. It's so accessible, but people do not realize the true value out of it, right? So, I mean, knowing that where, we came from, knowing our connection with Ben, it was for me, it was just a no-brainer. Just I was involved with real estate kind of my whole life here, as working for my father. We're always just in houses, right? So I'm like, you know, I don't want to be super labor intensive anymore. I need to find a better way because I know there is. There's always an option at the end of the day, right? So I think it was just knowing Ben. I think it was just that instant. I'm pretty impulsive at the end of the day. I like to get things done, and you know what? I move quick, right? So I just pursued that, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna commit to this. It doesn't work. I'm gonna find another way around it, whether this works or not, right? It's not just something to be stupid about. I knew it, costs money at the end of the day, but I knew real estate was the way because Ben was, he was mentored a lot from Grant Cardone. I love him. I love his books as well, and kind of same, mindset when it comes to real estate, personal development. So I saw I saw just that value there that, I can actually have Ben, and he's actually like a family friend here, um, that could really help me with this journey. So it was just in kind of an instant. It was a no-brainer for me. So I jumped in, I spent the money. I was glad to, and no regrets whatsoever. I know these things take time to build. It's also something that people don't value at the end of the day, that everything is just instant gratification for people,
Yeah.
right? You get the information at your doorsteps. You have Chat GPT, you have Grok, you have fast food around the corner. Like everything is just so accessible where people's minds aren't even, they're just programmed for right now, or even just the next day or so. But knowing that every skill, if I can just become 1% better every single day, whether it's through the sales calls, through analyzing a deal, through the connections made here, it's going to progress. In 100 days, I'll be 100% better. My business will be better. Um, and I know it'll help my family too achieve financial freedom. So, um, it definitely takes time, and it's just the pursuit that I'm on. So, a little rant there, but it was
No, no,
100%
and I
worth
mean,
it. It's worth an
and
investment.
and I've noticed. I mean, even the both of you too from the beginning, right? With the calls, because I mean, we were listening in. right, on the deal house calls and what was going on, right? Just the progression from the start. I
Yeah.
know those first ones they're nerve wracking, right?
Mm,
You don't really know what to say. It's tough, and I mean, following a script, and I'm sure you guys aren't following a script now. Right now,
yeah.
it's just kind of
Yeah.
second nature of the conversation. But
Yeah.
even that, right? If something kind of throws you off, it seems awkward. It's just
Yeah.
weird. You don't really know what you're looking for, what to ask, how it's going
Yeah.
to flow, right? It's just weird at the beginning, but just the progress of actually putting in the work. And that's really all it is, right? You put in the
It's
time,
all.
you put in the work, you put in the effort, you analyze what you did wrong to improve on the next one. And it just
Hmm.
gets better from there, right? So it's all just another skill set that you're building, right? I know for
Yeah.
me personally, I've never had an issue talking with people. I mean, again, I'm a little older than you guys, right? I've been around for a little while. I've done training programs. I did a little stint with a university as well,
Yeah.
right? Doing teaching some courses. So talking to people, relating with them, public speaking, being in front of people, and just you know yapping and running my mouth and that sort of thing. It
Yeah.
kind of just comes naturally. So it wasn't something that was super difficult, but the difficult piece is really learning your conversations and being intentional with what you want,
Yeah.
and then kind of continuing it on, and the follow up, right? The whole organization and follow up piece, and constantly being in contact and keeping your leads warm, and getting
Yeah.
rid of the ones that don't make sense, and then just putting that all together, putting that whole process together, which is what we're learning to do, right? And it does take time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's really the key. That's the key to success, right? And then there's other avenues. There's paid advertisements, there's email blasts, there's regular mail, there's advertising in the neighborhoods that you want to look at, right? So
Yeah.
then you're not only just sitting there, and again, that's more with scale up afterwards, right? But you're not just sitting there going on Zillow, cold calling sellers agents all day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you will have some incoming leads that are already warm right off the bat because they want to sell. They're interested in what you're doing, right? And it's a little bit of not as much of a hassle, right? So now
Sure.
now you have phone calls coming in, you have leads coming in, which you can scale up and potentially find some better deals as well, right? So,
Hmm.
but you have
Hmm.
to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere. You got to go online, and that's the free aspect that you go on Zillow, you go on Realtor.com, you look in your area, you see what's been on the market for the longest time. That's like one of the easiest ways just to get started. Pick up
It
the
is.
phone, see if they're willing to take a less price than what's listed,
Yeah.
and then work from there.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's interesting because we're working with Ben, right, as the end buyer, and he wants a discount, right? So there's
Mhm.
not much to negotiate with him on that, and it's interesting to think that I reflect on it that we're not getting to that number we want, but there are things that I've gone down, like 500,000 less or 200,000 less, but in percentages it's not enough. But in reality, you did take off that amount. Like that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
a lot of money. So it's cool to see that there's actually development, and you can feel it too. The more calls you make, you can start feeling uh, that it's actually coming in naturally more. It's
Hmm.
just like a normal conversation that even if you ask a question or you take a long pause, it's just kind of a normal
Mhm.
part in the conversation. It doesn't feel like an awkward. Oh, let me read the script real quick and then
Yeah.
come back and try to ask you that question. Um, was there like something you guys felt either for your mindset or anything else change as you went into real estate?
Mindset wise, I think for me, it's just, and we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago too, right? It's really just like when you start getting a little bit burnt out, because I mean, and I'm sure you guys have felt it too. You're making calls all the time, and they're fucking going nowhere.
Mm.
Right? Some do, some don't, and you're making relationships, and it's all part of the game, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can feel a little bit down on yourself because it's like, man, I've been making calls all day. There's nothing happening. Everybody still thinks they're sitting on a pile of gold over here when the market is pulled back. They think their home is valued way more than what it is,
Yeah.
right? And you're trying to find a deal, and it kind of bums you out a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the key, right? The key is just really staying consistent and resilient, and it's there's one thing I heard, like, you never really have burnout, right? The whole point is, yeah, you may have your down moments,
Mhm.
but looking at, for me anyways, looking at our community and seeing the success of other people, like they're finding deals, they're killing it, they're making money, that sort of thing, it kind of
Mhm.
reignites me to start firing off and maybe readjusting what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and kind of the conversations, and seeing if I can gain a little bit more traction and success, but really just reigniting to get back on the phones and deal finding, and then just hammering away, right? So like I
Mhm.
said, it just and that all comes from being part of a community and seeing other people have success, and for me too, really it's a competitive thing, right?
Mhm.
So when I start seeing other people finding deals and having success and I haven't done anything, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I need to get back on the phone and start hammering away and
Yeah.
get something done.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
what it is, right? Some people kind of they get down on themselves, and then you stop. It's like, oh no, I don't feel like making calls
Yeah.
anymore. Nothing's happening. This is work. I'm gonna go do.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, it's not like that, right? It just kind of reignites. I gotta
That's
get
such a good point. Such a good point. I think in that time frame, I mean, surrounding yourself by those people really does again just reignite that energy, that spark, because it is all about action based, right? The more calls the number of, right, I mean, just calls or connections that you make during a day really just um is influenced by the value you bring and just the results at the end of the day. Are they,
Yep.
positive or negative? If I'm increasing in my KPIs, I know I'm progressing, right? Even though I'm not seeing those results right now, I know that it will, hit sooner, sooner or later. But yeah, Matt, how do you think, what's your take on that?
Like you said, sooner or later, you know what? It's like gambling, right? There's no such thing as winners and losers. There's only winners and quitters, right? As long as you don't quit, you're gonna win eventually.
Good.
Yep.
That's good.
I don't know
Tell my
if
buddy
that's like
that he's
gambling, Matt. I don't know if you could compare that to gambling too much, but
I don't know. He seems he has experience,
exactly.
so
are you a
Yeah,
pro gambler, Matt?
I've gambled my fair share. I put money on Mike Tyson, and that was a horrible idea. Uh, but
nice.
yeah, like Jeff was saying with burnout there. I mean, I've seen it. I've been through it right now.
Hmm.
I've got pretty bad ADHD. So to
Hmm.
stay focused on one task is tough because I'm all over the place. Like for example, I got that children's book, doing real
Yeah.
estate, the podcast. I'm just all over the place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And in Saskatchewan, agents aren't rude. They're actually quite nice because they don't see this kind of stuff, right? There's not investors calling every single day, hounding them like they do in the States.
Yeah.
So they act differently on the phone calls. But for me, I go through like a thing like ADHD paralysis. So, for example, we're working on renovations on one house, and that is my sole focus. So it's like I can't
Hmm.
do nothing until that project is finished,
Hmm.
which I need to get out of that mindset. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow lane to success, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is hyper focusing, right? I hyper focus on the 1% rent rule. That's my go-to, right? Finding properties I want to hold for appreciation. But like I was telling Jeff, I forgot all about what about the wholesales, the hotels, the fix and flips. There's lots of
Yeah.
opportunities out there. There's a lot more, but my mindset's on the 100 to 50K mark. But there's houses I could take for 200,000 and make $60,000 profit on them. I'm just not looking that close at those. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
so that's kind of opened up my mindset a lot. And it's nice to have Ben because Ben's personality brings a lot of hype to anything
Yeah.
he does.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you get burned out, you don't think about it, but then you hop on one of Ben's calls, one of his revivals, and he just starts hammering out facts and gets you pumped up. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do it now, right? Like he's
Mhm.
got that Cardone personality
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he just makes you want to go, makes you want to win, right?
Right.
So
And I think that's
that's
really,
kind of,
yeah, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's driven solely by, the mission and the vision that you have, right? I feel like a lot of, people just lack that and just knowing that it's not going to be clear at the start, right? Like I don't know exactly at what it's going to look like, in the next month or the next year or so, but that's where I find, entrepreneurs really thrive is taking action in those moments where you don't need that motivation anymore. You're just now what you have to do. You know what you have to right, just progressing to advance to that next step for that success. And I think this is where a lot of people, the controversial part is, are you looking for security or are you looking for ambiguity, right? Like if you're able to thrive in that, I think that's where people really truly become successful because you're not relying on, security of a salary or just what do you have, retirement funds or even just staying within a job, right? But this is solely like commission based. Like you have to go hunt or else you're not, surviving the next day. You have to go find this next deal. You're on commission. The only way you're providing for that family and it's up to you, right? So, um, I think that drives, right, just that mission. That's kind of how I view it. And I think it really helps with just my massive action. That's some Grant Cardone always talks about, but um, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's like
he's good. He has
self
great content.
accountability, right? That's really what it is, right? The
Hmm.
with this kind of market, it's success and not success, it's all on you, right? The better you
Yeah,
do, the more you're going to get rewarded from it. If
yeah,
not, it's on you in the end. It's not on anybody else, right? And some
hmm,
people just aren't built for that, right? Some people, they just want to do that 9 to 5, just have that security, not worry about it, come home, sleep, get up, go back to work the next day, and then just have that same routine, right? And have that same level of
yeah,
comfort where you need other people that are just driving to push for more, right? And the people that are most successful, they're absolute fucking animals,
yeah,
right? They don't
yeah,
sleep. They're doing multiple things at once. They're always trying to learn. They're always trying to progress. They're always trying to
yeah,
find different avenues,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like this whole thing, it's super interesting, like the creative financing, finding joint ventures,
yeah,
especially in the States, right? Like you can assume people's mortgages. So
crazy.
if somebody's in trouble and they need to get out of this investment or whatever, they may have a mortgage from 10 years ago that's got like 1% interest, and it makes sense. And then you basically give them some cash, assume the mortgage, and then it's your property,
Yeah,
right? It's not as common in Canada. Um, but I mean, all that stuff is going to come up here anyways. You're starting to see all that information flow up to us as well, right? Like we never had House Sigma before. We never had access to, comparables and sales data and all that stuff.
yeah,
You would
yeah,
have to know a realtor or have access to the MLS to be able to do that, right? But
yeah,
all that stuff is kind of shifting. Where we are now. 10, 15 years ago, they didn't know anything about wholesaling
yeah,
in our markets, right? Now it's becoming more common because it's something that they've been doing in the States for a while, just
sure.
because there's more access to
I actually
information,
learned that
you
it
know.
started in Arizona,
Yeah,
wholesaling.
it makes
Mhm.
sense, right? It
Yeah.
makes sense. And that's probably why the agents are so pissed off about it, because they've been dealing with it for 30 years,
For 30
right? And
years.
it's just a more competitive market down there, right? But like I
Yeah,
said, all that stuff is kind of shifting up here. And then if you understand that knowledge and you apply it, you now have more of an advantage than some of the investors and some of the new people starting at this point, right?
yeah,
And without being part of the community and doing mentoring and have some sort of skin in the game, you're not going to take it seriously, right? You can
yeah,
watch as many YouTube videos as you want, all these influencers on TikTok and Instagram, and everybody just showing all the wins all the time. Look, I got this. This is what you can do. DM me for more details. And you just basically just consume these videos and nothing's happening. Where
yeah, yeah,
when you actually have some skin in the game and you pay for some coaching and some mentorship and you have that accountability and that community around you, it actually pushes you to do more.
yeah, yeah. I think you make a really good point, Jeff. Here is there, we might not be in the best time. It's a bit tougher here, but we've never seen such an opportunity with all the information now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit different from when you guys were our age. But now, I mean, just you all and I, we just have so much, technology now, which people didn't have, right? So it might be a little bit tougher now, but even just with the resources, it's we're gonna see I think a huge influx in just more successful people. I know Ben kind of talks about it, but there's going to be a rise of just, more and more ambitious and successful people than we've seen just all throughout North America. So I think just people who take to, they just choose to take that initiative, right? I'm not saying everyone will, or you said that they're not, always called to do it, or they don't have that same motivation, right?
Hmm.
It'll come to other people, right? It's just it's the willingness to choose and to take that action, that initiative, um, and use the resources we have, right? That's such a it's such a blessing, right? So I have to do something with that, right? I can't just stay and consume, right, all this content. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
definitely
and that's why I respect you guys, doing this at I mean,
good.
when I was 18, 19, I wasn't thinking about that at all, man.
Yeah.
All I was doing, I was in I was in university. I was just partying. I was doing stupid things,
Mm,
chasing girls around, not doing anything productive whatsoever.
mm.
Drinking, partying, got kicked out of university my first year, not the best student, took me forever to finally get my degree,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Absolute garbage student, right? But everybody kind of takes their own path, right? And they got me to where I am now and surrounded by the people that I am now. And everybody, you just
Yeah.
have to, you can't worry about what happened in the past, especially like for me, right? You just have to take
Yeah.
it as it is now and push forward and use your skill set and your learning and everything to have success, right? And like I said, you guys are starting early. You hit the ground running now. In 5 or 10 years, you're going to be laughing.
Mm. Yeah. Hope so.
You
I
know,
know. I believe it.
it
Yeah.
makes me wonder, like you were saying, Jeff. Like when you were 18. Um, I don't regret the things I've done in the past as well growing up. Like you said, partying and all
I
that stuff.
maybe regret a few of them. I maybe
Yeah.
regret a
But
few things that I did, but we won't talk about those things.
back
Yeah.
then it was hard knocks, right? We learned from our mistakes, and we've
Yeah,
we probably made quite a few of them. Like when I was 18, I was busy tattooing people in my car. Like I wasn't thinking about real estate or hustling that way. And I'm kind of curious,
Mm.
what year were you guys born?
I was '07.
2006.
Yeah. 6 and '07 here.
Y'all didn't even go through like Y2K or 9/11,
No.
or even the
No.
fact of dial up. Like you guys never had to go through dial up like that. Like that's crazy. You
Yeah.
guys, you know what dial up is, right?
No. What is that?
old school internet, man. Like you weren't
Dial-up.
even able,
Yeah, so
like if
we were born right when the pretty much everyone transitioned into, every home has internet.
yeah,
The internet's a common thing. So I've never experienced stuff like that.
What
yeah.
was your
I
guys'
mean,
first phone?
Sorry?
Like your first cell phone? What kind of phone was it?
Well, I got my first cell phone at 15 and I still have it.
It's an
So
iPhone or Samsung?
it's a LG G Slim 9 or something. It's an old
it's a
phone, but
it's a smartphone. See, that's an
yeah,
It's
old
it's a
a
phone to
smartphone.
smartphone.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a smartphone.
we
It's a
didn't have
Like it
smartphone.
doesn't.
smartphones.
It's funny because me and Jeff, when you're young, if you're popular, you had like an LG Shine. It was like a silver flip phone, like the Razors or
The
whatever.
razors, yeah,
I think
yeah,
my
yeah,
dad has
But
that somewhere in his shelf or
yeah.
something.
Probably.
An antique.
or the iPod Nanos. But like as you see the progression, right? But like
Yeah.
back then when we had dial up, you literally could not be on the landline. I don't know. Do you guys know what a landline is? Like the phone.
Know what
Yeah,
a
okay.
landline is.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure, but you couldn't be on the landline and internet at the same time. It would
Yeah,
take literally about 5 to 10 minutes just to get onto the internet. And I remember back
Wow.
then, if I wanted to download a picture or even watch a YouTube video, it took like 2 days to download it
You
or to
kidding
print
me?
the picture off. Yeah, like
yeah.
it
Oh
was
my.
brutal. So
We used to download music, right? And you would set it up and leave it on overnight to download a few songs. It was absolutely insane. And I mean, for me, that only started
Wow.
coming out when I was in high school, right?
Mm.
So I still like growing up in my teens and everything. We didn't even have internet. Just imagine that, right? There was no internet. Like if you wanted to
Wow.
go hang out with your friends and contact them, you're either calling their mother on the landline, hey, can you come out and play? Or
Yeah.
you're going down and knocking on their door to go out and do something, right?
Funny
So it's
enough,
just,
actually, my parents made me do that, so I didn't have a phone till pretty much end of high school.
yep,
So, when I wanted to hang out with my buddies, I would have to call them with my home phone that was on a landline. So,
Mm. Yeah. I
that's
got my
wild though. Just to see.
I got my phone just at the start of, high school. I mean, I wasn't crazy about it. And I know they've been showing more and more just the, screen time, and you can see your just the analytics too, and it's crazy with what some of these people have, like their numbers of screen time. I know mine's pretty crazy, but I'm actually using it productively here on my computer.
yeah. It
But
also
like,
depends what you're looking at, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you're looking at some YouTube videos to learn some different skills, to do
yeah,
some marketing, maybe some video editing, right? Maybe, you're doing some market analysis, right? You're doing some underwriting, you're
yeah,
watching, um, like a Cardone event, or, you're
mm,
watching Ben's Revival, something like that. At least that's going to benefit you, right?
yeah,
Instead of
yeah,
just doom scrolling on the internet, watching
Doom
TikTok.
crap,
scrolling.
or
TikTok's a
or
killer.
yeah, or watching dog and cat videos, which are nice every once in a while, right?
I
But as long
never
as it
got
doesn't,
TikTok. I never downloaded TikTok. And I had
Yeah.
It's
Instagram for a little bit, and I
there's some
just
good
couldn't.
stuff on there though. There is some
Yeah,
decent stuff on there,
that's the
but
argument
No.
that everyone uses, and then they're like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I watch good stuff," but then you watch good stuff and you doom scroll on the good stuff
oh,
for
yeah,
6 7
exactly,
hours. So
exactly. It's
TikTok is good for marketing, and that's what I use it for. But
Mm,
then,
yeah,
like, because a lot of people are using it, right? And it's not just young people. There's older people on there that are doing their businesses,
yeah.
and like Grant Cardone or what's that? Andrew Tate, right? Even Neon. They got the Clippers. They post them on TikToks, and people
Yeah.
just consume that, right? So it's one good way to get out to the masses.
It is.
But as
Yeah.
analytics growing up, our analytics was our parents yelling at us to get off the internet. They're trying to make a phone call. That was
yeah.
that was we got told we got too much screen time then. But
Well, and
That's
that was
hilarious.
one of Ben's lessons as well, right? Is kind of now shifting, and this is why we're doing these kinds of podcasts. We're trying to post
For sure.
content, that sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
shifting from consuming to creating content
Yeah.
to support your business and market, right? So it's just that whole shift of mentality. It's now using the social media and using these channels to
Yeah.
promote your business and grow that, right? So it's useful, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, make a very good point. Like I want to start producing now. Like I've consumed too much content, right, in my life. It's now got to change, right? Like the only time I'll touch social media is whether if I'm producing, right, or I'm posting something to bring more awareness to my company or just the, events that Ben has or whatever it is.
Yep.
Um, that's the only time I'll touch it, but you make a good point. It's not a good place to because you get trapped. It's a good reel. It'll just reel you in, right? At the end of the day, whether it's your cat
That's
videos or
That's what it
whatever
was
it is.
designed for. That's
Yeah,
literally what it was designed for, right? So,
crazy.
and it
Run
does a good
away.
job at it. It does a real
Yes.
good job at it.
That's why I'm gonna hire a social media crew. I'm not gonna touch it. I don't want anything to do with it, just because it's tempting, and I want to get away from that as much as possible because you learn to create, you learn to build momentum in there. So, um, I think Jeff, you mentioned a good point too. I think back when we were chatting about it, but it's maybe a little bit more tougher and to get a deal, let's say on the MLS, you have all these agents coming at you, right? And that don't want to give you a discount. But I think at the end of the day, if you're able to showcase and just get a deal through there, everything else kind of makes sense. Like you get so much skill and experience from that. Whereas if you just started doing ad campaigns, like you're not really getting into the thick of it and you're not I've just
Hmm.
learned so much, like just from the calls from the last 90 days, right? It may have not, resulted in too much, but just the skills built. Once I like to say this, but that first deal is gonna be like a qualifier, right? If you can get something on the MLS, you are now worthy to, do some ad campaigns, go off market.
Yep.
It'll be a lot easier to grow into scale there, but it's like a good test, right? So
Well, you have to think, right? I mean, it's a real skill because we're
yeah,
calling seller agents and we're trying to get them on our side to
yeah,
get their seller to give us a discount because in the end it's the seller that dictates, right?
sure,
Whether or not they
sure,
want to take less and unload the home. So yeah. So you're really looking to get the seller agent, which is, they're contracted to look after the seller's behalf, right? Like
yeah,
that's who's paying them. That's where the commission's coming from. So they're looking after them. So
yeah,
you're building the relationship with them to go to their seller to potentially getting a discount, right? So
yeah,
it's not the easiest avenue to go through, but it's available, right? You're able to do it. You don't have to pay any money for the leads. It's all whatever's listed,
yeah,
and it really just builds your skill set, right? So if you can negotiate that way, any other sort of negotiations are just easier after that, which is one reason that says like just start with that, right? Just start with that, free leads,
free
work
leads.
them, see if you can find some deals, right?
Mhm.
And then build your skill set because you're going to need that skill set anyways to build your training program for whoever you hire. So
Yeah,
now that's the business building aspect. So if you don't understand the business and what you're doing and what you're looking for,
yeah,
you cannot communicate that to an employee for them to be able to do what you need them to do, right?
so
And if
good.
you're going to hire somebody to figure that out for you, now you're paying them more than 10 or 15 bucks an hour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because problem solvers get paid more. So
Boom.
that's it. So you have to understand the business, which is what we're doing, to be able to scale and grow it, and then hire employees and train them, right? Because you don't want to
Yeah.
pay somebody else to train them, to develop your process, to develop your program, and to do any of that kind of stuff. Because now that's more money out of your pocket, right?
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
you can focus on your business building and marketing and sales, and then building your process and what you're looking for, and then convey that onto somebody else and bring in some employees, right? So that's
So
the fun
good.
part, is the scale up and everything, right? The
Yeah.
learning and the skill building is the tedious, annoying
Yeah.
part, because you don't really uh, you don't have that money coming in until you have a couple of deals under your belt, right? But
Sure.
everybody's, and you see it, right? Once that first one comes and it clicks,
Yeah.
then the next ones come flying after that, right? So it's just
Yeah.
that first hurdle to get over. And then once you have a few coming in, now you really focus on expanding the business and scale up, which is actually the fun part.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. No, I'm excited for those days, honestly. But it's definitely a
If you
journey.
guys if you guys had one thing you would want to tell the audience as like the main lesson that you guys learned throughout your life, it doesn't have to be exactly in real estate because even life lessons transfer into that. But if you guys think of what is the main thing that you guys would say to people listening to this?
I think for me is, you know, don't compare what you're doing and what's happening to other people's success. That's
Yeah.
that's a huge one, right? I mean, you can be motivated by it to do more, which is what it should be used for, but don't compare your situation to somebody else's situation, right? Everybody's in the situation that they're in. Everybody grows at different paces. They have different skill sets. They do things differently, right?
Yeah.
But the main thing is, don't let that stop you from getting things done, right? Use that as motivation to, like I said, to work on it, to skill build, and to build your own business, right? Don't use
Mm.
that as like what I say, like that hater mentality. Oh, they got all their stuff, I don't have anything, and it kind of gives you that negative mentality, and then
Mm.
nothing moves after that, right?
Yeah.
Shift your mindset, right? One, be grateful for what you have and where you are, and that you have the capability and the ability to do this type of thing, and work from there and move forward, right? And like I said, use other people's success and their situations and stuff as motivation. Don't use it as like a negative impacting thing that stops you from doing things, right? Because
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
you can eventually get there, right? It's going to take time, and you may not get there as quick as somebody else. But as long as you put in the effort, the time, and the work, and you have
Mhm.
the right mentality, you will get there.
So
Mm-hmm.
good.
Very
So
well
good.
said.
Matt, what do you think if you were to finish it off?
I agree with that. There, like comparing. I've seen so many people do it. I've done it. My girlfriend's done it. You look at other people in life, where they're at, where they're going, and it just kind of discourages you. My biggest thing would be to think bigger and get financial education. Get it sooner and don't set small goals. Like the biggest thing for me was, you know, we all live one life. We're all gonna die. It's inevitable, right?
YOLO.
Yeah.
You but how many people are going to be able to, let's say, you watch social media, you got people that are living in mansions like Jake Paul and all them, they're driving Ferraris, Lamborghinis. How many people are actually going to be able to do that, to be able to try everything once in their life, right? Most people work
Yeah.
their jobs, they die before they can retire, and they don't get to actually enjoy life or living on earth, right? And for
Yeah.
me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the one that just works myself to death and then have a whole life of regrets that I wish I would have went on a trip, or I wish I'd have went yachting, or I want to be able to experience it all. And
Yeah.
not everybody has that mindset, but that's why you just got to think bigger and push yourself to do more things and learn more, right? Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better. Like Elon Musk
Yes.
said, no matter what happens in life, as long as you got that knowledge, they can't take it away from you. And with that knowledge, as long as you have this, you can get rich. So
There you go. There you go. Bombs, guys. Bombs. We got Matt Gobeal. We
Meow meow
got
meow
Jeff
meow
Maximo.
meow.
We got Yuval Blank, guys. This has been a great episode. Thank you guys for sharing everything,
we
all the
appreciate it.
insight,
Thank you
all the
guys. Yeah.
wisdom. You guys are absolutely amazing. And let us know who we should bring on to the podcast next, right? Just value bomb after value bomb. And we wish you well, guys, in your real estate journey. We're rooting for you guys. We're all doing this together. So stay tuned, guys, for the next episode. Hope you guys liked it. Share it to somebody who needs to hear it. right? And we will see you in the next one. Peace out. Thanks,
Peace.
guys. How do I end this? How do I? Wait. Oh, here we go.
Cut the recording. Cut the recording.